I must say that when Lancy sent me this book, I didn't know whether to accept it or not. The title of the book, as you can see, is a bit daunting. Forests and tribal livelihoods, changing behavior and attitudes. To me, the first challenge, and it was a self-challenge, was whether I could understand it. Because an eminent people like Lancy, I'm not singling him out, most of the time what they write is incomprehensible to lay readers like me, who do not have much of an understanding of these issues. The second criteria, and when he said change, changing behaviors and attitudes, to me it represented a tremendous dynamic, highly dialectical, interactive thing between forests and tribals, moving continuously. There's no one equilibrium. It's moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, that kind of thing. Would he be able to do it? Or would I be able to understand what he was trying to do? That was another self-challenge. Thirdly, a consistency of argument. Would he be cohesive? Would there be internal inconsistencies? Having, for donkey's years, served as a book reviews editor in a prestigious journal, I will name that, I knew that I should not impose my own ideology on a particular book, because I had an editor who would say that, look, if it comes from the stables of Panchajanya, don't accept it. Just reject it. But don't waste your time and the reader's time and column space by reviewing books which you don't agree with. So having said that, let's see what he started to do. And this is where my own surprises came. Because way back, about 30 years ago, 32 years ago, both of us were roaming around the forests of South Gujarat, and I enjoyed the hospitality of many houses, trying to understand tribals in forests. To many of us at that time, forest was something very static, and the tribal, well, Gujarati films, Hindi films, wearing a grass skirt and dancing under some trees and shouting hula hula, that kind of thing. You've seen plenty of movies of that kind, I don't need to name it. But what does it do? The precision of the surgeon starts descending. Layer after layer after layer, gets into this whole the changing character of forests, of livelihoods, and the interaction, and brings out the aspirations of tribals, not as a static category. Mistake we all make, following that, well, if you've seen the movies like King, or what we call the Empire cinema, 1930s, you'll get an idea of how we portray the other, breaking out from that, and builds up a story. I don't want to be a spoiler, but then you wouldn't read the book. But it's interesting. Gets into issues of dams, big projects, displacement, starts reviewing the legacy of our laws and tries hard to unravel the mystery of increasing forest cover without forests. Goes into the definition of what a forest is then in the statute and in popular imagination as well as people living in that vicinity. And then he comes up with another thing that, look, the whole nexus of dependence on forests, migration, looks at policies. That is one part of it, and a very interesting part. But now to me the question was it just a dry theoretical analysis? Anyone can do that. Nothing very difficult, and there have been plenty of things, that kind of literature available. The Forest Department, incidentally, is the biggest producer of that kind of literature. So what do he and Jayesh do? They reach out to 184 villages across 14 talukas and 11 districts. A comprehensive ethnographic survey questionnaire, what we call mixed methods. grappling with this whole question of the relationship of people with their natural environment. Living in, living out of, dependent on, depending on. The whole cosmology of change, of meanings of change, having gone into that, it comes up with a very interesting issue, the issue of conflicts. To many of us, working in this sector, a big puzzle has always been that why are forest areas, the tribal areas of Gujarat not subject to what is known in official parlance as left-wing extremism, what we call Naxalism or Maoism, take it what you will. And there he brings up, and I think, if I remember right, we had gone to that village together way back in 1981. A Taraben Pawar was killed in Kosinda village in the Tars. It was a nascent, okay, he shouldn't have been killed. It was very brutal. The villagers in retaliation went and burned the range office. Also, behind it, there was a nascent LWE, I don't like the term, but I'm using it, LWE movement, which the government crushed, but at the same time there was a lot of development. Now, how did then, how was the base of Naxalism eroded at the grassroots? I won't answer this question, but you have to again read the book. It's like, I can't tell you the full story of the movie, because then the whole fun is gone. When we look at forests, I too have been a victim of it. I try to get out of it. In general, and I hadn't expected it, two men, religious, writing about gender. That to me was a very big thing. That okay, we can tell our colleagues, a woman, that okay, and that reiterates the argument that we have been making for the last few days, that gender is not just about men and women, but relationships. The very interesting portion of gender. Incidentally, he mentions the chip. And he quotes from the chip book. And I must say that right now is the 45th year of the chip book. When chip book completed 20 years, my editor just kicked me out of the office with a few rupees in hand and said, get lost in the mountains and bring me back a good story on the chip book. I found after 45 days of trekking, two very important things, that no woman ever hugged a tree in India chip. Contrary to what we have been told, the power of the media. Parts of it out there in this particular book. I'm not praising him unnecessarily. The second part, in 25 years ago and now, the word Chipko in the Chipko villages is an abuse. Gaura Devi's daughter-in-law threw a huge metal pot at me because she thought again I had come to talk about the Chipko. Because in the mountains, as well as here, people want development on their own terms. To me, that was the most fascinating part of the book, Nancy. There was another part that, and that I'll stop after. Okay. A very interesting part. That's fine. So what? How do you solve it? See, a book has to raise certain debates, and they have done that. We have all been talking about 33%. Those of us who work in the field know that this 33% is a big hoax because, say, take Gujarat, about 9%, 10%, the remainder goes to the eucalyptus industry. How to manage that? What these people have done, they have classified the land according to slopes and said that, look, 35 degrees and above, make it into dense and very dense forests. And they have a very nice term for it. land capability classification using satellite imagery, and they are saying that leave the rest of the land to the clouds around, which can be then put to intense uses as commons by the villagers. At the end, I just have one request to the authors, that do not just keep it confined to your book. Publish it, circulate it into popular media, academic journals, because this got into capability. This is a solution which can be done, and it keeps the menace of industrialization out from the villages and creating large armies of informal sector workers who land up in the slums. The other request I have is that, in a book you can't do everything in one book. You have a lot of ethnographic material, I know. Bring that out as small articles from your 184 villages about perceptions of men, women, children, about this whole nature, forest, human being linkage. The third thing I have is that, you have collected it. Look at the histories of forest management in the princely states, Baroda versus Junagadh, which you could not obviously touch in this book. Thank you.